Happy Monday. Coming in for a landing. You might be flying like me. I don't know. Red card. All right, we're coming live. The Dirt Report here on a Monday, the 30th. It's almost April.
Yeah.
And we have most of the gang. Y'all pray for Daryl. Midnight Rider couldn't be with us. He's going through some stuff.
Health issues.
Right. Health issues. Pray for him. He loves racing, loves sports, and music. That's his three main areas he loves to be on the podcast.
We love all three here.
Yeah, we are the Southern Patriots podcast and Wolf Nation. And tonight, this is the Dirt Report. We have a special guest. This is our interview series with our drivers or soon-to-be drivers or drivers again or track owners or vendors. We don't care. Anybody that's associated with
blood
racing.
in their blood.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
We've got Brady Beavers tonight, and we're excited to have him. And we didn't know we were going to have him. Then we didn't have him. Then we did. So, like, he didn't know he was even going to be here because I messed up. And then Dean says we got nobody. In the meantime, I'm emailing Brady saying, you're going to be on the show tonight. And he's like, I don't know. Him and Dean worked it out. Somehow he ended up here tonight.
Hey, Brady, anybody ever call you Beaver?
High school days, some people did. I kind of shut that down pretty quick.
Shut it down quick.
Yeah.
I've got a really good friend named Beaver.
Yeah.
His name is Beaver Robertson.
I know him.
He's a really good man of God.
Awesome. But anyway, we're going to let, as we normally do, we're going to let Brady tell his story. Shout out to all the drivers this weekend. We, up there, real quick, just because we got the interview. We won't cover it as much, but Scott Smith, who was with us,
Yeah.
I-75,
Yeah.
he come in fourth. You know who was ahead of him? Hughes boy. I posted. I said, we're going to have every one of you come down here.
We need to.
So
All the Hughes boys.
all the Hughes
need
boys
to.
finished ahead of him again. He's just grinding them teeth.
You
Trying,
know
I
he
got to
is.
beat him.
You know he is.
So, and our boy Booger
yeah.
won from Chickamauga.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was at Toccoa, was it? Was it Toccoa? Or
I got my notes. Yeah.
and I reached out again. Booger, what are you looking for? I've got the all points bulletin put out on Booger. I
Yeah.
don't remember his last name, but I remember the first
Booger
name.
Brooks.
Booger Brooks.
I'll go to his house.
Well, we're going to get him on the show.
We need to.
He won one of the races. He come
Yeah.
in down in the pack on one of the others. But Booger from Chickamauga,
Yeah.
we're looking for you. We got the hounds out,
That's
the torches, all that stuff. We're going to send out
The milk
Biscuit Boy,
carton. He
the
got
milk carton. Yeah,
Chickamauga Booger.
Yeah. Yeah.
we're going to get him. But shout out to all the winners this weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't see any incidences. Everybody was safe. At North Georgia, wasn't it? They had a transformer blow.
Yeah.
And they had to get the power company out there, but the fans stayed, they said.
Yeah.
They were a little later, but they stayed and supported, and I think that's awesome that they did that.
Right.
So, anyway, good job, everybody. And then when we get into racing hour, we'll talk about the NASCAR
Yeah.
race,
Oh, yeah.
which somebody won that Deans were happy about.
Yeah.
I didn't know he's going to be that happy, but
Yeah.
all right, I digress. Brady, welcome to the program. Enjoyed talking to you before we went live. Tell us where you're from. We talked a little bit about that. And let's take it on back and talk about how you got into loving racing. And then we'll just kind of go from there, my friend. Thank you for being on the program.
Yep, not a problem. I'm happy to be here. So I'm from Winchester, Virginia. I'm 19 years old. Kind of racing's been in my blood since I've been a little kid. My mom's side of the family, they raced sprint cars, and then my dad ran go-karts for a long time, and then he eventually got into sprint cars, and he stopped racing when I was a little kid. So
We'll get situated.
Yes, thank you. Sorry about that, bro.
You're all right.
As they were in the bathroom.
I didn't
correcting
either.
One another.
I tried to keep a straight face, but
Wow.
That wasn't planned. I don't know what they're
That was
doing.
not planned. We apologize. for
You've
that,
killed
you know.
Chaser.
I would expect that.
Oh, sorry, Brady.
I saw it. I tried to keep a straight face, but I didn't say anything. I didn't know if that was
Hey,
supposed
you're
to happen or
good,
not.
man.
I was actually paying attention to you. I wasn't even looking at you.
Oh, phew.
I told you never know what's going to happen on this
There we
program.
go.
So
So,
anyway, we apologize.
Oh,
At least she had the
Don't need to
camera
pat your
up.
back.
You know what I mean? She had the camera up.
Yep.
So
Thank God.
oh.
All right, so we know that Brady is from Winchester,
take two.
yeah.
take two, but he spent some time in Pennsylvania
Yeah.
as well,
Mhm.
and his family's been in racing, and it's in your blood, man. It's in
Yeah,
your
pretty
blood.
much.
So anyway, go ahead and tell us about your grandpapa or your great grandpapa.
So, my great grandfather, he grew up a race fan, and he did pretty well for himself. He had a masonry business. He laid brick. He made a good bit of money. You know what I mean? So, 1967, I think it was. They bought their first car. The number was 46. Their first driver his name was John Ebersol. So they got the number 46 because at the time, John's kids were ages 4 and 6. Okay.
Cool.
So they show up to the first race, and there was already a 46 there. So they were like, we need you to add a number. So they took a piece of duct tape and
This story
They-
already.
Two.
they put a 1 in front of the 4. So it was 146. So then I think my great grandmother was the one that said 146 doesn't look right. So they took the 1, moved it to the back, and the number was 461, and that's stuck ever since. So
Yeah.
my he was involved with that for a long time, and then there was multiple times where he said he was getting out of it. I've seen old newspaper clippings and stuff from back in the day where he had said that he was done racing and all his stuff was for sale. That happened a lot of times. So
These good people, because we all quit every time. Everybody quits something down here about every month.
Oh, yeah. I think I quit golf about 25 times a year.
Yeah.
You sound like my kind of guy. I love it.
When you say you're quitting something multiple times, it means you really love it. You know what I mean? You quit it because you're not doing as good as you want.
Right.
So he did that until 1984. My great grandmother talked him out of racing because my mother was born and her cousin was born. So they talked out of racing, with new grandkids coming, and all of that. So 1985, they took off, and Lynn Paxton said to Lynn Paxton, I don't know if you guys know who Lynn Paxton is, an old sprint car driver from up here, done amazing stuff. Like, he's just a historical driver, you know what I mean? Look, won just about everything around here there was to win. So he said to my grandfather, he was like, we need more cars. So Granddad put another car together, and the driver, when he first came back, his name was Joey Allen, brother of Bobby Allen. Not sure if you guys are familiar with Bobby Allen. His son Jacob Allen used to race. They have another boy driving now, and his grandson Logan Schuhart runs on the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Tour. So so Joey was the first driver, and then they were doing all right, and then 1991, Joey, I forget what the whole story was, but they had two cars. So then they put, I'm sure, I don't know if you guys are familiar or not with Lance DeWeese or not. So they put Lance in the car, and Lance is a National Sprint Car Hall of Famer. So he's widely considered as the greatest driver to come out of Pennsylvania. Won everything there is really to win around here. So Lance was kind of in a slump at the time, you know what I mean? Wasn't doing so hot and was running out of equipment. So he put Lance at it, and they won the first race together at Port Royal. So, and then Lance was in it for 7.5 years. They won 132 features together.
Wow.
Beat the Outlaws 3 times at Williams Grove. And and then eventually
run right there.
Yeah. Lance always says that's the most dominant he ever was. And I mean, 132 wins in 7.5 years. That's pretty.
Yeah. Not only do you have a good driver, the car was set up correctly.
The car was set up correctly, and they had arguably the best motors at the time in the nation. You know what I mean? For back then.
Yeah.
So and then Lance ended up getting out of it. He quit. Had another opportunity. So then had some more drivers come in. I think they won a couple, 4 or 5 times after Lance left. But actually, it's kind of fitting because their last ever win, their number was 461. Their last win ever came at Williams Grove on April 6th, 2001, which is 04, 06, 01. So that was pretty.
Whoa.
That was pretty cool. Kurt Michael from Delaware was the driver at that time. And then
say it was his 461st win.
It wasn't that many. They didn't have that many.
Cool.
That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it was just fitting that, the car with that number got its last win on the date of the same number. You know what I mean?
That is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So then Granddad got out of it for again. And then my dad was racing sprint cars, and he was racing 305 sprint cars and wanted to move up to 410s. So he married my mom, which is my great-grandfather's granddaughter. So they got married, and Granddad helped him out, you know what I mean, gave him a good bit of money to sponsor him, and he owned a good bit of it, and they got him a car, and he ran 1 year of 410s in the central PA area, and then that was it. He had a pretty bad injury. It was the same day of what was supposed to be his first race of the 2008 season. He had a pretty bad work accident in the morning. He was working in his shop, preparing for a project for the upcoming week, and had a pretty bad work accident, and he just never came back.
Wow.
So, Brady, do me a favor. Explain to those that are listening that might not understand what a 410 is.
So 410 sprint car. I'm sure you guys know what sprint cars look like. It's 410 cubic inch motor, aluminum block. Like a lot of the lower sprint car classes, they have steel blocks. So I got an aluminum block, and I think about some new motors nowadays make up to close to 1,000 horsepower.
Exactly.
You got a lot of power underneath of you. So yeah.
Do you see dirt cars going electric anytime?
This is a topic of conversation that I hear a lot.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but more than you would think.
Personally, I don't think electric cars should enter any kind of racing.
Oh, you mean like electric motor?
Yes.
Okay. No, I don't hear that. I don't think that's going to happen. When you said electric, I thought you meant like sprint cars having starters and stuff.
No.
That's what I thought you meant. I apologize.
I hope not.
No,
But they are toying with the ideas
they
at
are.
many levels of
Yes,
racing.
yes,
So
yes.
right.
that would be bad. Yeah, and I just want to plug in here and say, anytime I would love for you to come back and show a lot of pictures and stuff and talk about your family's legacy in racing.
Definitely.
We would love to do a show and just highlight all that.
Yeah,
We
I'd be
thank
more than
you
happy
for sharing it, but I would love to see pictures
I
and
would too.
things about that, the racetracks, whatever you've got. That'd be a great show to show that area and some of those tracks and some of those things. We'd want to honor your family that way. And-
Yeah,
and-
Like you have the legend himself on.
yeah, whoever would like to come on, we just make it the celebration of what you guys have done.
Unfortunately, my great grandfather did pass away, but we have my grandfather, which would have been my great grandfather's son-in-law. He was one of the crew members for a long time, so I could bring him on here, and he has a Facebook group. I forget how many members it has now. It's got thousands of people are in it. He created a Facebook group dedicated to the history of what they did. And all of that's on Facebook, and we could get him on here, and we could probably talk for hours about stuff.
Yeah, just tell his friends he's gonna be on.
Yeah.
We would have a ball doing that. But and let me say one quick thing, and we're gonna test the waters here.
Right.
But I want to say, you said you were 19.
Yeah.
You are very well spoken for a 19-year-old.
Yes,
I'm
he
not
is.
putting down 19-year-olds, but a lot of you sound so mature. You definitely have ability to speak and communicate in a very mature way, and I appreciate. I mean, it's just amazing to me. You've had some good raisins, son. That's obvious.
I appreciate that.
Year-olds be sitting there with a Coca-Cola and a bag of Doritos.
Right.
Yeah.
He hasn't said like one time.
Yeah. Like, wow.
I hear that a lot. A lot of people tell me that I'm, pretty mature for my age, and
Right.
I never really thought much of it, but I've seen some 19-year-olds, nowadays, and I'm not bragging upon myself or anything. Like, I'm not the kind of person to brag or anything, but you just gotta wonder, you know what I mean? What they went through in their households and stuff, like,
Sure.
because you can tell that they're just, there wasn't a good supporting cast at times, and you know what I mean.
Which is sad, and we're big on that. So, and we also want to be encouragers and encourage you. And I believe in telling people, because I noticed that, and I'm sure the other gentlemen did, and just well spoken, and I think that's awesome. I was going to bring, I think Dusty was waving. He has a shirt on now, but they have the phone there. Is Dusty available with clothes on now?
Yes, he's upstairs.
Okay, well, I'll give y'all a minute, and then we'll bring you back up when he's ready. All right, just tell him to wave at me. All right, because we went from no clothes. We have clothes now. You got Dean all flustered over here.
No. I don't
want
want to say no more.
what was going on there?
Wow.
So, what has been your input into the racing? You have this great family legacy, and you're wanting to race. You're doing practice, but what has been your part? Working on cars, kind of working as a pit crew.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about that a little bit.
Right.
All right, so I'll go back to the beginning. So my one of my buddies, his name was Tim Millot. He grew up a family friend. He knew my dad's family and he knew my mom's family. Actually, he set my parents up like back in the day. Yeah.
Cool.
That was pretty cool. I saw him. It was 2019, I think, he said to me, he was like, "How would you like to work on a sprint car?" I said, "I'd love to." You know what I mean? I would love to. And I thought about that a lot. I was excited. But a couple years went by and we just never got to do it.
Right.
So,
But
then
you
fast.
didn't give up.
No, I didn't give it up. So fast forward to 2021, he was helping another guy. Actually, if you see that mini wingboard, the 880, that was that car.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
That was that car. So he was working on that car, and I was kind of in a point in my life where I didn't have much to do. You know what I mean? I spent all winter hunting, which I kind of still do that. But no, nothing wrong with that at all. But I didn't have any friends at the time. You know what I mean? I was
live
on
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
This was kind of when I was living with my grandparents for like
you
a
make
lot.
friends with the turkeys and the deer and all
Yeah. This is exactly like kind of like in the middle to the end of like when I was like living like or spending a lot of time at my grandparents.
Right.
And he lived like 5 minutes up the road from them. So I messaged him one day. I was like, look, I'm kind of in a point in my life where I have a higher interest of racing, like even more every day. You know what I mean? I didn't have much going on. I remember you saying a couple years ago that, you would like to get me involved with racing. So I said, you're with the team now. He's like, if you have room, if there's room on that team for, another guy, he said, I'd love to join. He said they could absolutely use my help. And I was so excited. Oh, let me tell you, I was so excited. Did
you have any experience at that time working on engines or anything?
No.
Just had a desire to.
Just had a desire to it.
That's awesome. I love that he took you under his wing as an apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
That's sweet.
Because he kind of, he knew my mom, he knew my dad.
Yeah. He
kind of realized at that point of time, like there was nobody else in my family to carry on the legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he knew that I loved it. I loved racing. So he came to me and kind of kickstarted, all of this for me and, got me some experience.
Him.
Yeah.
That's experience you can't buy.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately, though, he did pass away in January this year. So that's been pretty hard on me. But
so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Each time I work on a car, nowadays I dedicate that to him. And I remember numerous times when I was working with him on the 880 that he would yell at the driver to stay in the gas because this driver was kind of new to 410s. He'd just come out of 305s. Right. So he was new to 410s, and Tim would just harp on him all the time. Stay in the gas, stay in the gas. So I got a sticker made to put on my dash of my sprint car. It says stay in the gas, and then below it says in memory of Tim. So
nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Did you have more than one shirt made?
So we actually didn't get shirts made yet. But
well, if you do, I'd like to buy one.
We definitely would.
Yes.
We always try to buy something from our guests.
Yes, definitely.
So if you have merch or something, let us know. We will definitely put in something, and we'll follow you on your. What is your social media like? What do you mainly use?
So I just really use my personal Facebook page. Like all my Facebook is whatever we're doing in racing. There's a lot of pictures that I post. If something a granddad's car or a picture of my dad or something, I'll repost it. But yeah, I pretty much use my own personal Facebook page for a lot of.
Under your name, Brady Beavers.
Yes,
we'll definitely give a follow. We follow all the social media for our guests and others as well.
And
we'll do that. Brady,
give us a shout out to your sponsors.
So I don't have many sponsors right now. It's still kind of a thing in the works. But I'm very appreciative, for the ones that, are riding along with me, giving a young kid some money that's just trying to pursue his dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate that. So
racing ain't cheap.
No,
not at all. Not at all. So first I'd like to thank M&T Ford Trucking, KL Weaver Trucking, Pro Paint Customs, M&C Repair, Beavers Carpentry, which that's my dad's business, the Cake Boutique, which is my mom's business. She's a wedding cake baker full time.
Awesome.
Yeah. And really, that's all I have right now.
That's a
but
lot,
Yeah.
young man. That is a
But
lot.
it is.
Honestly,
it's not bad. For
That ain't bad at all.
Ah.
no.
I don't have to pay for some tires or gas or entry fees or something.
Yeah.
I love that you got your parents hooked in there.
Yeah.
You you draw on what you have. I mean, your
Right.
parents are there, and they
Mhm.
got businesses, and also it gets their name out there. So for those that's in the area nearby, go get a wedding cake made.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Kind of looked at it as, as much as my parents have done for me over the years, the least I could do is throw their business names on a race car or give them a shout out, or you know what I mean?
Most definitely.
Yeah. So when you were working on these, the car,
Mm-hmm.
what was the? And there's so many questions I could ask. What is the thing that you love to do the most in working on the cars, and what's the thing that you hated the most? If you hated it, I would say hated that is you dreaded, like, oh man, this is going to be a pain. This broke. Give us the sense of that, because we haven't really talked to people. Yeah, they do work on their stuff, but they talk more about the racing, and they don't have a pit crew or they got friends that help. But in this case, you were doing that, full time.
Mm-hmm.
So give us a sense of what, as you started into this and you're learning, that you're like, yeah, I get the chance to do this, and now, or man, because when you're low man on the totem pole, sometimes you get the jobs nobody else wants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right.
Ain't that right, Paul? I mean, if you're on a construction
exactly
crew,
right.
you're a gopher. I mean, you cut wood. I mean,
And I'm still like that with my dad's business. My dad has his 3 or 4 like top guys that, do whatever, and I'm just there running tools or picking up trash, or you know what I mean?
Baby, that's the way it happens.
And I will tell you what, every single person I ever hired on a construction crew, their first job was to find the board stretcher. I would send them 7, 8 different job sites
Biscuit boy.
looking for the board stretcher. I mean,
Yeah.
At my work, we called it the core stretcher.
Yeah. And when I was a lithographer, we called it the film stretcher. I mean, we it's been around a long time.
Yeah.
Hey, before you answer about that, did you get done that way? Did they send you for something that didn't exist, or just to mess with you? Did that ever happen?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember. Let me tell you, when I first started working for my dad and first started working in racing, I was the young kid. You know what I mean? I got picked on all the time, but I can't say I ever was sent to search for something that didn't exist. I can't say that I ever had to do that.
They took it easy on you. I love that.
Yeah.
Pop said, "Y'all be nice to him now."
Hey, I had a guy for 2 days looking for the film stretchers when I worked at Target Graphics. He was our new driver, and I had him. He went to every single printing company in Chattanooga, and I called the head. Hey, he's going to be there looking for the film stretchers.
That's awful.
Yeah, dude. 2 days.
Yeah.
That's usually like a 30-minute deal, man.
Yeah.
You see how he does?
Yeah.
No wonder he got banned from Lake Winnie.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah,
So
you're gonna do it right.
So what did they start trusting you to do first? Like, they're teaching you, like, okay, hold this spark plug wire or something.
Yeah. Stick this to your tongue. Tell me if I get a spark.
So my first deal, the first thing that Tim taught me was how to change the tires on the back of a sprint car.
There you go.
Sprint cars, they're not like your normal car where you have the fronts, they are. But in the back, you don't have your 6 lug nuts that hold the wheel on. You have one big nut. Okay. So that was my first job. I didn't know that until I got there. You know what I mean? So this, like I said, this was a whole new, you know what I mean? Like I said, it was a learning experience. I didn't know that. So that was the first thing that I was taught. And it absolutely blew my mind when he told me this. The right rear, right is loose. Left is tight. The left rear, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey for the wheel nut, but it is backwards on the right rear. And that just blew my mind. It's not that, it's not that scientific, you know what I mean? You don't need a rocket scientist to figure it out, but it just blew my mind. So that was kind of my first ordeal was changing the tires and, setting air pressures. And yeah, that was my job for about a couple weeks. And then it was like my 3rd or 4th race with them. I actually got to learn how to change the tire, like take the tire off the wheel and put a new tire on.
Right.
And like I said, that was a whole, you know what I mean? Everything was a learning experience. You know what I mean? I was learning something new every race. You know, I was never familiar with a beadlock wheel until then. Didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? So like everything I learned was like blowing my mind. Like I was expecting, they said, take this tire off this wheel. I was expecting like a tire iron and all this stuff, you know, really having to work that thing off. He was like, oh no, buddy, all you got to do is take this beadlock off and it just slides off and you slide it back in. And that was like those are the first two big things I learned. And so we ran, I think 10 or 12 races that year. And then unfortunately the driver of that car, he had a really bad knee injury in his high school days of football. So, and that surgery, the surgery they had to fix it came undone, and he had to have a surgery to repair it that off season. So we didn't do a lot of racing that next year. I think we actually went back down to 305. We won our first race back in the 305, but we only ran like 2 or 3, 4 times that year. And then actually he slowly eventually faded out and quit racing. So, but yeah.
That's cool, man. And
So you stepped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready to race now.
I listen, I was in his dad's ear all the time. Like, look, you know, I don't have money. Like, and me and his dad were close. We are still close. We still talk just about every day. You know, I was like, if Drew's trying to get out of this, you know, I'll take any opportunity I can get. If you want to put money in the thing, I'll run it. And he was like, I would love to do it, but you know, money. You know what I mean?
We around the church, all the young preachers are like that. They hover around the pastor like, are you feeling bad tonight? I can help you out. I mean, you get a lot of that young preachers and stuff. So I get that. So when was the first time they actually you got in the car and got to do some laps, and what was that like, and what were you in when you got to do that?
So my parents knew, like, for a long time, ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to race. Like, just what I always wanted to do, even with having no experience, like working on the cars or anything.
Right.
So I was pretty like heavy about it, you know, wanting to race when I was like 12, 13. And then it got to the point where, you know, like I said, I used to hunt a lot. Still do, not as much, but still do. So I just spent more time hunting than anything. And, you know, I got out and just really enjoyed that. So I didn't really think about racing myself for a while. And then I started working on cars for a couple years. And then it just got to a point one day, I don't know what made me say it. I said to my dad, I was like, I want to try to race next year. You know what I mean? So that was right before my birthday. So, you know, we talked about it, didn't talk about it again for a while. Didn't think anything of it. It's my birthday. I opened up a present and it was a box of racing shoes. So I was like, oh boy, something's getting ready to happen. Like, I know there's something I don't know about yet. And Dad talked about it and he was like, we're going to get you in a 305 and a test and tune at Babs Motor Speedway here in a couple weeks, which at the time, that actually got lined up. I was actually helping that boy at the time that was running the 305. So my dad and his dad started, you know, they talked about it. Him and my dad are pretty good friends. So they got a deal worked out and I was able to go. And I didn't do as good as I would have hoped. You know, both times I practiced, I didn't do as good as I had hoped. But, you know, what really blew me away when I first got behind the wheel of one was just how fast it seemed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I knew I figured I probably wasn't going that fast. And I was proved that by looking at the videos after the fact. But, like, you know.
Speed down the back stretch.
The first time I probably got to about 90 or so. Which is
not bad, man.
Right.
You gotta be up there about 120.
Yeah. I mean, 305s, they might look slow compared to 410s, but they are not slow cars. One boy I was helping this year, they had a radar gun at him going into turn 1 at Bedford Speedway, and he hit 116. I mean, that just shows you how, you know, they get moving. Well, anyway, beside the point. You know, and I didn't get to about that fast until like my third session, I think it was, but it just blew me away. I knew like I was only going about quarter throttle, but it just felt like I was going a million miles an hour. You know what I mean? Because I'd never experienced anything where I was experiencing that kind of rush, you know, adrenaline rush. And, you know, I mean,
nothing like
I'm kind of like a. If my family's listening to this, I apologize, but I am kind of a speed demon on the road. You know what I mean? So,
guilty as charged.
Me too.
I'm kind of a speed demon on the road, and you know what I mean? Like that feels so slow to me. So I thought getting in a race car, I'd be just fine.
Yeah.
But I found out very quickly that, I'm probably not even going half the speed of what I do on the road, but it feels like I'm going like 3 times the speed. You know what I mean?
Well, you're in a much smaller car
You're in a much,
with more
a
horsepower.
very small confined space with more horsepower, fuel injected. You know what I mean? Wing sprint cars, you have
in an oval.
Yeah, and an oval. Wing sprint cars, you have the wing to get you in the track. You know what I mean? You can feel all of that. You don't feel that on the road. You know what I mean? So it just felt so much faster than anything I had ever experienced before.
So how was your experience setting the car up for the turns? Did you get that immediately, or did it take you a minute to get the right combination?
Yeah.
So, I have practiced twice so far, once in that car and then once in my own car this year. Yeah. I cannot get the turns down. Like I said, and it'll come once I get comfortable. Like I told you earlier, I'm hoping to rent a track one day where I can just go out and make as many laps as possible. You know what I mean? To get comfortable. But like back to the part of being so fast, feeling like I'm going so fast, I was just dumping it out of the gas, like getting into the corner, and it was upsetting the car. Sprint cars, they like to be loaded. You know what I mean? They like having like air and speed and force to get it in the track. You know what I mean? The faster, the harder, not really the harder, but the faster you're going, the better they handle.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? People were telling me that night. I was like, I know, but like what you don't realize is like this is still my first time in the car. I'm not comfortable enough to go that fast. You know what I mean? I kind of got to get it in my head slowed down a little bit before I can do all of that. So so I was the last time I practiced from like the middle, not really the 3/4 of the way out of the corner to about halfway down the straightaway, I was wide open. But back to the part of feeling like I'm going so fast, I could not for the life of me keep it, just being uncomfortable. I could not keep it in the gas going in the corner. And like I said, hoping to rent a track, get that figured out. You know what I mean? But
you get it. It takes time.
Some people, when they hit the corner, they will cut the wheel into the turn and then cut it back. Hit the gas, cut it back, and get your rear end, flanking out, and then nail it going around. That's something I never really got good at either. But I mean, I never really raced. I did a lot of hot lapping for a friend of mine, and I loved it, man. I mean, there's nothing like the sounds, the smells. I mean, the taste. You get dirt in your mouth. I mean, it's the exhaust, everything. Just it's an amazing experience.
It's pretty amazing. I talk to people sometimes and they're like, oh, it can't be that addicting. You know what I mean? But like once you're there and get into it, like this, I don't know, like what you said, the smell, the sounds, just everything. It's just,
I've got a friend. He does a race, but he loves drag racing. So he goes these NHRA things and he gets the pits pass. And I was asking about that. He goes, man, I don't sit in seats. He said, I want to be down there where I feel the thunder in my chest and I smell that racing fuel. He said, I just love it.
Rubber,
he said, I want to be down there. I want all the smells, all the sounds. I want to feel it. He says, I want all of that. And he said, there's nothing like it. He just eats it up. His wife goes up in the stands. She's like, you can have that. I'll go up in the stands. But.
Well, what kind of tires do you use?
We usually use Hoosier racing tires. That's the kind of main tire in dirt racing right now. The 305 organization Race Saver, they actually started making their own tire this year to kind of be a competitor for Hoosier, but that's really only legal in the 305 division. There have been some reports that the people that manufactured that tire for Race Saver is trying to manufacture a 410 tire that they can run, at high limit World of Outlaws shows. You know what I mean? Kind of give it a competitor, because like back in the day, like when my granddad was racing, you had all sorts of tire brands. You know what I mean? Like when the one year or the one race that my when Lance beat the Outlaws in my granddad's car, they had 3 brands of tires on the car. They had Goodyear's down the left, a Hoosier right front, and a McCreary right rear. Like, and I think that's what like made racing back then so, so awesome, was because you had so many different brands and stuff. There was innovation, I guess. You know what I mean? You had brands trying all different sorts of things. You know what I mean? You had people in their own shop trying to do all, there's Danny Lasowski and Jerry Russell created this car. I forget what year it was. Anyway, it was longer. The motor was offset in the car. It wasn't sitting in the center of the car. All sorts of different crazy things. And a lot of it, people still don't know what they did. But they took that thing down to Florida for Florida Speed Weeks. I think it was early 2000s. I forget how many races they ran, but I'm pretty sure they didn't win all but one of them. And the Outlaws banned that car. And I don't know, that to me, racing, people think that racing right now is in like such a good spot, which with TV and all, I won't disagree, but like the actual product, you don't have the innovation. You know what I mean? A lot of places nowadays, at least on the dirt side of things, it's just follow the leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just so, you have a strict set of rules you have to follow. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make it fun. Like, or fun to watch anyway. Like sprint cars, like nowadays, automatically, even without setting them up, they have so much grip. Like nowadays, if you take a look at, my granddad has the show car from when they beat the Outlaws years ago. If you look at the left rear tire on that car and compare it to a left rear tire on a sprint car nowadays, the tire on my granddad's car is so much shorter and it's so much skinnier. Nowadays, you have these wider left rear tires and these taller left rear tires. You know what I mean? There's really, the cars aren't as unhooked as they used to be. And to me, the more grip that sprint cars have, the worse of a product it puts on the track, because everybody's just about the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what you just, I don't know. That's just my take on it. And people might disagree, but in sprint cars anyway, that's just kind of my thoughts on it all.
Well, in the earlier days of racing, the innovation, but a lot of times they were trying anything and everything to get speed, get faster, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at the story of the Petties, and they weren't the only ones, they would try anything to get an edge, and they still do that. But they were a little bit able to get away with it more back then than they were.
Mm-hmm.
NC Native wants to know if you've ever been on 2 wheels just to impress a girl. If your parents are watching, you might not want to answer that.
I'm going to say no.
That's a good, safe answer.
Good answer.
It wasn't until the last couple of years I really started chasing girls. You know what I mean? I was just, I was into my own thing, and that's all I wanted to do. I didn't really have time for girls. I just wanted to hunt, go to the races, and all of that stuff. So I'll say no on. I'll say no on that
Good,
one.
safe answer. I like it.
Have you ever had your driver's side front wheel off the ground coming out of the turn?
Not really coming out of the turn. More happens in our cars at the end of the straightaway, because you have so much wing speed and the way the cars are set up.
Yeah.
Sprint cars, when they're happy, the left rear is buried into the ground, and then you pick the right front up. That's when sprint cars are happy, because they have so much grip, they have so much wing speed. You know what I mean? That happens a good bit. In 410s. Not even when they're really, that good, but you just have so much wing speed in 410s. You know what I mean? Compared to 305s and 360s, that it gets the car that way to where it's, you're kind of winged over.
Okay.
I was thinking back when you said you got those shoes. I as a dad, I kind of know what was happening there. Before you got those shoes, he was telling all his buddies, "Hey, my boy's got the bug. He wants to race. He is ready to do it."
Oh,
so
probably.
That was a big deal for him. It's like, yes, I did it right.
Yeah.
My boy,
And mom probably was like, I don't know, I don't want him to get hurt, So dads have to make a promise to moms that he's not going to let you get hurt. So,
Right.
And of course, we just throw that stuff around. Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be good. Don't worry. We all did it, And saying that, have you ever seen a bad wreck when you've been at the track in your family or just somebody else?
Not really with my family.
Well, they were just so good they didn't wreck, but maybe somebody else, you know.
I was at Williams Grove a couple of years ago when Lance was racing, and he hit the wall pretty hard down the front stretch of Williams Grove. That was probably the hardest hit I've ever seen. My heart kind of sunk seeing that, you know, because not even just somebody you know, but anytime you see a driver with a bad wreck, it kind of, you know, you kind of feel it. He did not get hurt. I think he bit his lip or his tongue or something on the impact. Yeah. Yeah, so that was probably the hardest hit I saw, but I also saw at Williams Grove again this past year. A guy clipped the pit opening on the backstretch with his right rear, and he started spinning down the backstretch. But they caught on fire, so it was a pretty bad wreck to begin with. And they caught on fire, and then Danny Dietrich stopped and got him out of the car. So yeah, it was pretty cool to see Danny help him with that. But you know, you never want to see a bad wreck.
Dean always has a great question. This would be a great time to ask that. Does he wear the device?
Yeah. Do you wear the Hans device?
Yes, I have a Hans device. Yes.
Good for you.
I think that's great because it, you know, it really does. People think, oh, it's just a piece of whatever, plastic or whatever, but I think it helps save, you know, a lot of neck injuries nowadays.
I'm surprised they haven't made them mandatory.
I would tell you, yeah.
I think in a lot of our stuff it is. I could be wrong, but yeah.
It should be.
Different tracks have different rules. Yeah. Apparently, many of them down here, it's optional.
Right.
But most of the guys do, but some don't.
Right.
And they just feel like they're so safe in the car. That's not an issue. But that whiplash effect of your neck is you can't stop that.
Helmet on.
Yeah. You can't stop that. It's going to happen. So
the helmet gives it added weight, and you know, with more weight, it's easier for your neck. You know what I mean? Your head to rock back and forth. I mean, that just creates more whiplash. So,
and it only takes about 8 pounds of pressure to break somebody's neck.
Yeah. I think they're good for the sport, definitely.
What's your attendance like at the racetracks being too?
I've been working on, you know, micro sprints and 410 sprint cars and 305 sprint cars. I can most definitely say the best crowds we see are at 410 races, you know, because that's the main attraction.
I like the high power.
Yeah, you know,
that
really brings the fans in, is, you know, a main attraction division. Now at a lot of 600 micro races, I worked on them for a while, you know, got to a lot of places. A lot of those in 305s, a lot of those kind of divisions, the people in the stands are there because they know somebody on the track. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You and that's great. You know what I mean?
It's good.
The more people a track can bring in is better. You know, it's great that people go support their friends and stuff, but when you're actually talking about a crowd, like, can't miss it, it's always the 410 races. Like, I've seen Port Royal, like, standing room only before. You know what I mean?
So how are the promotions? I mean, does that track have a good promoter? You know, as far as, you know, getting out marketing, you know, getting a race out there to everybody, let them know all the different aspects.
Promotion wise, I would say Port Royal is probably the highest promoted track in the country.
Wow.
You know, that place was an old fairgrounds track. You know what I mean? There about 15 years ago, they were considering closing just because of how bad it was. You know, it was a terrible facility. It was so dusty. So then this guy comes in. His name's Steve O'Neill, and he basically turned the place in. It is widely considered around the nation one of the best dirt tracks. Racing, watch, you know, anything, the best track in the country. So he basically took a dumpy old fairground track and made it into what it is now.
Track in the country.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of money. But if he's getting the crowds, it's paying off. And these guys don't mind pouring the money in for a better product and a better facility if they have the crowds coming. And that's been the big thing. We don't want to lose any.
That's what we are really wanting to do, is help, you know, the track owners and all. We want to help them draw people in, you know, get the word out.
That's right.
Draw people in. But I think dropping the ticket prices would probably help.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about all tracks.
Some of them are very reasonable. Some of them are higher.
Yes.
No doubt.
I would agree. But what I'll also say is I think, you know, a lot of dirt racing nowadays is live streamed. and people think it's great. Oh, I can sit at home tonight and watch the same race that people are watching that are actually there. But I don't think it helps because you have so many people that have the mindset of, oh, I can just watch it at home.
Well, it ought to be, you ought to have to pay for it.
Yeah, yeah, and
I mean, sure.
Well, even though they do, though, it's like streaming music, man. It just killed album sales.
It does.
It did.
I mean, they have millions of plays and they get a little bit of money. I mean, there has to be a balance to all that. I think there has to be a balance, but what that balance is, I don't know. But I think it's encouraging. So, of course, you had family in it, but you're young. And that's good to see.
Right.
And your friends, I don't know if any of your friends are interested in it, but maybe they'll come out and check you out when you're racing and stuff. And just getting young people and families in there and giving the kids something to do, like that big wheel racing and all that Dean's going to have to do. I think that's great. Get the kids out there, get them around the track, get that. Got to get that dirt in their mouth too. You know?
Western Flyers going out
there. The Western Flyer. That's it. You know,
that's old school there. So, Brady, let me ask you one question here. Do you see a lot of younger drivers picking up the sport, or is it still, older people? Or, I mean, as far as what would you say the average age of the field is when you drive?
From what I see on a regular basis, I would probably say between 30 to 50, I would say. You know what I mean? Because you still have people that do it, but like the cost of the sport is so extremely high nowadays that it is very rare in sprint cars anyway. Like you still have people that show up to like the 4-banger classes at tracks and stuff that are new, but like sprint cars anyway, like and late models, just any really class really, it's gotten so expensive that you don't see as many new people, like it's kind of on a decline of new people. And I'm a firm believer in that there is probably a lot of kids out there that want to do it, that could probably be a hell of a race car driver, but just don't have the funding to provide the opportunity. You know what I mean?
Do they offer any? And I know you don't have like passengers or something, but do they have? Hey, Dusty and Desi, we see you with a shirt on. We appreciate that. I'm glad it was you didn't have a shirt on than Desi. I think would have been in trouble, but I'm glad you have shirts on. Yeah. And thank you for checking back in.
Desi,
they're in Ohio, by the way.
We appreciate it.
Waste up. But did they ever have anything that were? You have to be careful on its legalities, but is there a way that kids can get in the car and just feel that thing rumble or something? That would be so cool for a kid. I can imagine. I had the opportunity to do that when I was a kid. Somebody just put me in their car that was really souped up. I mean, ready to roll. I mean, you talking about the thunder rolling. That's what it felt like to me as a kid in the back seat.
He's right.
And just goosing that thing, me in the back seat. I've never forgotten it, what that felt like. I mean, I just think there's got to be ways to do that. School groups, whatever, get them to come out and hear that.
That's right.
I do know that McKenna Hassey from Iowa a couple years ago had a program where she was bringing in sponsors and money and stuff, giving kids opportunity to run box stocks, which is an outlaw cart, which is kind of like a really, really small sprint car, kind of. Not really, but kind of. They have wings, but anyway, she was bringing in sponsors and stuff to provide box stocks for younger kids that wanted to do it. I don't know if that's still a thing or not, but I thought that was great. And you don't, like I said, with the funding, you don't see a lot of that anymore. Like with legal actions, like what you said, you just don't see it. Like,
really quick to sue over anything.
And like,
my toe getting in the car.
Right.
Like I think I was 11. I think at my local track, Winchester Speedway, they had like one of the Kenny Wallace, dirt racing experiences where they had two-seaters and stuff. Somehow, I don't know how we got by with it, but I lied about my age at 11 years old, saying that I was over 18. And rode in this two-seater late model around Winchester Speedway. Like what you said, like about how you experienced that. I'll never forget that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just being thrown around in that thing. You know what I mean? Just with no control of it, just sitting there to the side, like, okay, this is how this feels. You know what I mean? like I'll never forget that. And but like
Did your parents know you did that?
yeah, my
Okay, I just
my dad was kind of
make sure they weren't hearing that for the first time.
No.
Like he did
No.
what?
no.
Is your
Yeah.
trailer open or enclosed?
So we have a closed trailer right now. We have two cars. Right now we have a car for me and we have a car for Lance's boy. His name is Cole. We have raced together for a long time. I'll get into that later. But we have a car for him, and right now we are utilizing his trailer. So when I went to practice, we used it. It only has room for one car, so pretty much for the time being, we can only take one car. But when I get more comfortable, we plan on purchasing another trailer. So we have a trailer for each. So,
Nice.
yeah, we have an enclosed. I think it's 26-foot. I think box trailer. Yeah.
Nice. I like your hat, man. What
I
do you
do
say,
too.
cowpoke?
Cowpoke, yeah, and I'm not a cowpoke or a cowboy whatsoever, but I like Western wear. I wear my boots probably every day, and yeah,
I like that.
I'm glad to hear that.
yeah.
That's cool, man.
Oh yeah.
So what's the step from here? Like testing, like you said, renting the track, getting some laps and some practice in. You still gonna work on cars or just focus on your own team? racing?
I'm planning on racing part time this year because I have some pretty cool deals going on right now with other people. You know what I mean? And I kind of committed to those things before I planned on racing. And but even if I didn't commit to that, I'd probably still race part time just because I still enjoy that. I still enjoy having that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's
Well,
just.
I appreciate your integrity there.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. I just I just enjoy it, you know what I mean? And I've had some people give me some pretty good opportunities to work on some stuff, and I just feel like it's kind of not the right thing to do to completely forget about them. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you watch NASCAR a whole lot?
I used to, but not as often. I just, I'm just more of a dirt guy.
I love it. Get in that dirt.
Yeah.
What's the old saying? All asphalt leads to dirt where the real racing begins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much. Yep.
That's
But
cool.
we'll go back kind of. I left out a good bit of how much time do you got?
Well, we're about out of time. We're going to have you back, man.
Yeah.
You've been a wealth of information.
Yeah,
for us.
I will try to sum this up the quickest way possible. Okay.
Go right ahead.
Go for it.
So it was in 2021. My great grandfather got inducted into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame out in Knoxville, Iowa.
Sweet.
So as a car owner, so we were on the way there, and I was riding out with Lance, his wife, and his son. His son and me have become best friends. We hang out all the time. We talk every day.
Yeah.
But at the time, we really weren't. So we were kind of having fun on the way out, playing games and stuff, and on the way there. And on the way back home, I don't know what caused her to say this. I apologize if she's listening that I have never thanked you enough for this. But Lance's wife said to me, "Why don't you come with us to Pennsylvania Speed Week and get to be around the car and hang out with us for the entire week?" So I was like, absolutely. And this is when I first started, getting into working on cars. So I was like, I would love that opportunity. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I went with them, and, the more I hung out with their son, the closer we got. And then he started racing micro sprints in 2022 and ran those for a good many years. And then while I told you earlier that I was planning to race last year and that got put to the side, at the end of last year, we put my car together for him and he ran it a couple races. And we've kind of built ourselves up to the point where we could have two cars and, bring in a good bit of sponsorship. And he has more sponsors than I do because he has experience and because of who he is. But that's just how it is. You start at the bottom at everything. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we got a pretty good deal going on there. But, back to the working on car side of things, I learned a ton from Lance and his son, a ton. But working on Cole's car, I was still just kind of the tire guy, you know what I mean? Getting the low jobs. And, you know, I just kind of realized also too last year that like, if I don't make a change or do something, you know, I'm not going to make it in this sport. And that's kind of what I've always dreamed of, you know, especially with Cole, you know, we're getting to race together now. We have a 2-car team. So, last year in June, his name is Casey Weaver. Him and his brother both race sprint cars. Their crew chief quit. Okay. So they texted me and was like, hey, let's work together a couple races, see what happens. So back to getting to first work on race cars. When I got that opportunity, I was like, absolutely, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Because this is the next step for me on the crew side of things. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So, you know, I started helping them for a couple races, and we were terrible the first couple races. You know what I mean? Like, as a new guy, you know, like in racing, I kind of felt doubted from the get-go, but then I really started to feel doubted because, you know, I was given this opportunity to set these boys' cars up, and we were terrible the first 2 races. Third race, I don't know what changed. We finished 4th. The next race, we finished 3rd. And then the next race we won back to back. And then we won our next race together. And then I won with the other brother, Colby, in October. So and Casey's running 410s now. So I'm getting the opportunity to set that up. And I just got, you know, I have great deals with everybody I'm involved in. You know what I mean? And, you know, I just have a ton of gratitude for the people that have given me the opportunities. You know, Lance and Cole, you know, I got to go to a lot of races and just learn from Lance's stuff and like learn from him and his son with his son's races. You know what I mean? And I took that information that I gathered, took it to another program, and I kind of jumped, like, you know, they had won 2 races before, but, you know, I kind of kickstarted their, you know, I don't want to, how do I say this? They're contenders like pretty much every week now of finishing in the top 5. So like I was able to take that and put it there, and, you know, and this all happened, like everything that I've accomplished so far has been because somebody wanted to give a kid an opportunity to get to the next step.
Right.
That is awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It's a great
Yeah.
statement.
Oh, yes.
yeah. So I got
Yeah,
And you showed up and showed out.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's building that foundation,
Right.
and then you'll be able to take all that into your career as you start
Mhm.
racing,
Oh, yeah.
and the experiences you're going to have. You're going to be able to tell that young guy that you're going to give some help to eventually,
Mhm.
and you'll be able to give him tips that you've learned along the way,
Mhm.
and then maybe he can help you
Right.
with
Mhm.
others become that winner as well. That's cool, man. That's giving back.
Oh, yeah.
You know, paying it forward, whatever you want to say,
Right.
but you're getting the experience you need. There are
Mhm.
people that go racing, they just buy their stuff. They don't know what they're
Mhm.
doing. I mean, they
Mhm.
have everybody else set it up.
Yeah.
Some people with money, that's what they do.
That's right.
You're doing it the right way
That's
because
right.
you're going to get experience at every level of that.
Mhm.
You know,
And you know, I realized that a lot of people did a lot to get me where I'm at and gave up some stuff to get me where I'm at. You know what I mean? So like the deal with Casey and Colby Weaver, the 2 brothers, you know, when they asked me to come, you know, I knew that they were kind of in a slump at the time. And I thought you know, when they asked me and I said yes, I thought I could help. Like I said, we sucked the first 2 races, but, you know, people gave a lot of stuff to me to get someplace. So it was only the right thing to do for me to give back to them. You know what I mean? They had a couple setup things and stuff that needed changed and stuff. And like, that was part of sucking the first 2 races, was trying to get that where it needed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got them in the 305 division to the point, like I said, they're top 5 contenders every week. You know what I mean? If they don't finish in the top 5, I'm not bragging on them or nothing. If they don't finish in the top 5, then, you know, something probably happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, Casey's
Yeah,
moved up to
tell them to come be
410s
on the show
now,
with
and-
us. We'd love
Yeah.
to have
Oh, yeah.
all of you on the show.
Yes.
Come
Yeah,
talk about the season, how it's
Yeah,
going.
definitely.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
man,
well,
an hour flies by. There's
Yeah.
so many things we want to dive into.
Oh, yeah.
We want you to come back. We
Oh,
want you to come
yes.
back with the team you're working with if they would like to come on, and we'll just continue the discussion, man. This is the
right.
first. This is the first of many
Right.
times. We don't look at it as a one and done. We hope it's been good for you.
Oh, yeah.
And,
oh, I've loved it.
Good.
And Dusty finally made. He's got a shirt on.
Hey, Paul.
But he worked today, so he's getting up from sleep. But thanks for and you gave us a laugh, man. You know,
Oh, yeah.
We won't never forget that.
No.
It's like legend now.
Yeah.
It is.
But thank you so much from the bottom of our heart. If you
Yeah.
get some merch, let us know.
Yeah.
I will.
Into
And
that.
like I said, I'm more than happy to come back. You know, I got a lot of family history I could dive to. I got a lot of, you know,
I want to see them old pictures. I'm an old guy. I like
Yeah,
it going back
I
there.
love them.
Yeah.
that, and you know, like I said, I'm helping so many other young kids right now. Cole, Casey, Colby. You know, I have so much more information I could bring about that and how we kind of got started with that and getting better.
Good.
So, you know,
Bring it.
I got
And we're starting up a hunting and fishing show too, so we want you to come back and talk about that hunting.
maybe, yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you can make your way down here. We'll go bear
Yeah.
boar hunting. You ever
Yeah.
been bear boar hunting?
I've been bear hunting. I've never been boar hunting. I mean, I
Tell you
guess
what,
it's
the
the same
boars
thing.
down here, up the mountain boars.
They're as
down
big as a
here,
bear.
They will. They're worse than bears.
Oh, really?
I'm more afraid of one of them than I am a bear.
Brady, you have a great night. Thank you so much.
thank
we're
you.
gonna flip things around,
Thank you.
folks. We'll actually drop the stream down. We'll come back up. We're gonna talk about the NASCAR race
Right,
from Sunday. Dean's got notes.
Yeah.
Brady, God bless you, brother.
Yeah, God bless
Yep.
you, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I
you,
really
sir.
enjoyed this.
You got it, man. And we'll run some music on the way out. And we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
That's right.
All right. See y'all later. Thank you.
Take
See ya.
care.
Yep. See y'all.